seems. This is for all the claims. This is for.
That's just instructions on what. You don't need to sign it, no.
All right, it's Monday, January 26th at 6:30 PM, and I call this meeting of the Yale City Council to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Right, Madam Clerk, we have a forum.
We do.
I'd like to amend the agenda to add, action item number 1. Review and consideration of the ordinance to amend Title 9, Chapter 8, Section 1, Schedule and Land Uses. Add equipment rental yard in the commercial table as a conditionally permitted use in the B3 Community Business District.
Alright, we'll add that to it. Alright, yeah, the first item after that is the consent agenda. Okay, number 1, the minutes of the January 12th, 2026 regular session. The claims for payment, department head report, engineer, clerk, treasurer report. Are there any questions on consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second that. Alright. Can you have a motion and a second? Any discussion?
I need to recuse for funds of payment. I own a shop in Buell. And there is a bill in here for $12.96. Something like that. Fred did sign it, and so I just need to tell you guys that, yeah, you guys bought propane from me. So I can't vote on this part.
On the vote, so I can't vote. So Brett? Yes. Gordon? Ryan, yes. Ryan? Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worse. Alright, that passes. Alright, next item is new business. Number 1 action item is review and consideration of the ordinance to amend Title 9, Chapter 8, Section 1, Schedule of Land Uses. Add equipment rental yard to the commercial table as a conditionally permitted use in the B3 Community Business District.
So basically, I didn't have the ordinance, at the meeting last week, and so basically what was on the agenda was approving the amendment, but we didn't have the physical ordinance. So this is just taking that next step to pass the actual ordinance.
And then, so I'm gonna read this, but every ordinance that we do, we can bypass the 3 readings. So you all have a copy of there, but I'll read it, and then we always do the year, so it'd be 2026. This is our first ordinance, so it'd be 2026-1. So, and this is not to vote on it, this is just to bypass the readings. So all members of the city council, having been furnished a copy of the proposed ordinance number 2026-1, and being fully apprised of the content and purpose of said ordinance, I hereby move that the provisions of Idaho Code Section 50-902, which require that said ordinance be read on 3 different days, 2 readings by title only, and 1 reading, which shall be in full be dispensed with, and that said ordinance be passed upon 1 reading by title only. And I request a roll call vote.
Right. Yes. Brett? Yes. Gordon?
Yep.
May I speak? No. May I speak to this?
I
know this is a working session. But I'm just curious about something that I'm a little confused, so may I speak and seek clarification? Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. Go ahead.
In that, when this was done in error, not intentionally, but nonetheless, in error on January 12th, that was a public hearing. So this is not a public hearing. So does this one get negated or set aside and then this one adopted, because this was basically null and void because it wasn't properly handled. So this, and then if we go ahead and just, oh, okay, well, we'll just do it today. Does this demand a public hearing then be held for this again? I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, there was a public hearing in the last meeting.
Correct.
They didn't follow the proper procedures to pass the ordinance. The hearing took place, your comments were allowed on the record, as was anybody else that spoke. So now the process is simply to go through and pass the ordinance properly. We don't need to have another public hearing. There was a public hearing that took place. I guess two, because there was one before P and Z too, right? P and Z and then city council. So another public hearing isn't necessary. It's just simple formalities of passing ordinance.
Okay,
They don't have to happen the same night.
yeah, okay, I was curious about that. You might get canceled and then just slide over to another way. How that happened? I didn't know.
Well, there was no action completed last time. Because
So
they
that-
didn't do it. And now we're doing it.
Without the public hearing for sure. Okay, I got it.
We haven't talked to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Right,
Yes.
okay, well, that passes.
No, that was just waiting. This is-
Yeah.
No, so that was just waiting.
And then I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2026 01 for the to amend Title IX, Chapter 8, Section 1, Schedule of Land Uses, add equipment rental yard in the commercial table as a conditionally permitted use in the B3 Community Business District.
I second, motion second. There we go. Any discussion? Roll call. Marlon?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Fred? Yes. Corbin?
Yes.
So that passes. All right, next action item is election of council president.
We move the motion to the election of council president. Approve the, right? Approve the election of council president.
Which would be.
Oh, Marla.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to elect Marla as our city council president. Yes, I would like to see that. Okay. We don't discussion that.
You can ask.
Any discussion on? Yeah. All right, next action item is the election of Ivor Hunt. Oh. So,
You just ask. You know.
Good vote. Good vote.
we gotta vote.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, that. All right. Action item, election of a library board liaison.
Anybody want to be the library liaison?
I know Marla does.
I think, I honestly, I think it's the, I think usually the fourth Wednesday of every month, and I think it's really good to get more knowledge on how city government works and, maybe a lot of really lots of things in library.
Sorry, no motion to.
Did you want to motion? Chris?
No.
Oh, sorry, I make a motion, that we approve, Portland as a library board liaison.
I'll second that. All right. We have a motion and a second, discussion? No. Roll call vote. Roll.
Yes.
Fred? Yes.
Yes.
Wow. All right, that passes, so. Project. Next action item is review and consideration of the special events application for West End Music Fest.
I mean, you have the application in your packet, he's not here.
Jason, do you have any concerns about that, or should we ask to be?
That's why I know a lot about it.
Okay.
This is, there's not a whole lot, it's the one we talked about a little bit in the department.
Yeah, the only concern would be any tents involved in driving stakes on the ground, just taking
Right.
sprinkler lines and water.
Okay.
And we talked a little bit about like damages. And there are sprinklers broken, things like that, can that fall back on the applicant, which I mean, how it's currently written, it's mostly for cleanup, but that's really the,
I personally would table it just until we can talk to them, especially with putting stakes in the ground that happened when it's not good, so.
Read your wall.
I never asked them more questions, like, the 500 people,
Yeah.
what 2,000 people show up, we're ready for that. No some planning, I guess, and anytime alcohol's involved, maybe it's just a kid,
Yeah,
family friendly event. The alcohol, and just some different questions about that, like what happened this week. It's gonna be family appropriate, or is it? Those are questions that happen.
yeah, other questions.
So table it till.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we table this, special events application until we can hear from the applicant.
I second you.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second to table this until. Yes,
Yeah, excuse me, what date's associated with this event? Do they have a date set?
June 27th,
What was it?
June 27th.
Okay, thank you.
and I'll reach back out to him. I talked to him on the phone and told him that he was on the agenda. So I don't know if something maybe came up or what, but yeah, I'll talk to him and make sure that he knows to. Did you guys say next meeting or?
Whenever he's available, yeah. I mean, it's not till June, so I don't know how you guys feel, but. That's
fine.
super.
it was some questions I missed, right?
So, and also he was my ex-brother-in-law and stuff, so I need to recuse from all this, that stuff, just because. If, you know, look there. So I just need to say that now. And then he does put his food truck on their shop a lot, so. Yeah, I need to not be a part of it, so.
Yes, we've got our motion and a second, alright, so we'll table that till. We have a vote. We don't need to do that. Oh. Okay. Vote on, Marlon?
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Corbin,
You know,
oh yeah, okay. And then we'll table that until. Alright. Review and consideration of door-to-door sales application for renewal by Anderson.
So, we have a door-to-door sales, permit that everyone that wants to do that does need to apply for and come before council so that you guys can ask their questions. We do have some representatives from Renewal by Anderson here. So if you guys wanted to come up or whoever the spokesperson wanted to come up.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Just a heads up, I have a hearing disability, so I have hearing aids, but one of them broke this week. So I can hear you, but it's a little bit hard, so. I am listening though.
Do you guys wanna start, maybe give kind of a overview of what it is that you,
Yeah, so, we work for Renewal by Anderson. Our parent company is Anderson Corporation, so we specialize in windows and doors. The business has been around for 120 years, and we are the innovators of everything that you see on homes today. Our company specifically, we are the remodeling division for Renewal by Anderson, so we only work on homes that are already built. We don't do new construction. We don't do commercial. We work in residential neighborhoods. What we specialize in, most of your contractors, about 99% of them, buy a window from a manufacturer. There's a face of a company that sells the product, right? And then they sell that work to a subcontractor. So there's three different businesses, right, that the homeowner is dealing with. Renewal by Anderson, we make our own window. It's all made, American made out of Minnesota. We are the face, we sell the window, right? And we have our own installers that install the window. So it's a single source. You're dealing with one company, which gives you a warranty where you, if you need it, right, you call in, it's one company you're dealing with, you don't get the runaround game. Right, which everyone's dealt with a couple of times. So we sell a product called FiberX, which is a patented window, which is essentially wood with a high-tech polymer. So no plastic. What we're looking to do essentially is go from neighborhood to neighborhood around installs. We've done about 20 in the city. Far back is like 2017. And we work around those installs, and what we offer homeowners is a free evaluation and a free estimate for future planning. The pricing that we give is good for a full year. So it gives people the opportunity to compare bids, do their research, right, plan for our project. And it's at no cost to them.
We do have some pamphlets of products that we sell, if you'd like. You go through those. Okay.
I guess my only comment would be, whoever is going door to door to make sure that they have their permit with them, so homeowners can verify that they've been approved.
So. And this, Chris over here, this would be the one that would be doing it, for us, so.
No question. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
I'll make a motion that we approve the door-to-door sales application for Renewal by Anderson.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
That passes. All right, our next action item is the parking ordinance. So 2 months ago, we had this on the agenda. We discussed a few options. And I was looking, it's been 2 months, so it's time to bring it back. I think we need to get it cleared up so our code enforcer has a direct route of enforcing it. And we can also make the citizens very clear on what it is. I think what I think. So my thought on it was just a 72-hour across the board for everything. And somehow, with the exception of anything really, really big motorhomes, tour buses, that kind of thing. So So we need a light on that then? Yeah.
Is that, would that be total, like the vehicle in?
That's just the trade itself.
That's for Norway, that's for. seeing both of those homes. There isn't anything. I'm sure that's gonna be so. I had a couple, things I wanted to share. So, this all, the parking ordinance that city council was working on, actually was brought to our attention August 12th of 2024. There was a citizen comment, I don't know if you want me to read a little bit of the history, so I'm not gonna say their name, but. So a homeowner presented a concern regarding the parking of Class C motorhome by his neighbor that parks in front of his house on Clear Lakes Road. He stated it is difficult to get out of his driveway. He added the neighbor had had an accident at their own house. Mayor noted she had spoken with, the chief about the situation. The homeowner added she leaves it there for 72 hours and then takes it down to Oasis and then back to the fish plant and then parks it back in the same spot. Our city attorney noted that it was out of compliance with city, it is not out of compliance with city code with our old ordinance. The homeowner questioned even for safety. There was further discussion about the safety aspect. Mayor noted the meeting for the comprehensive plan, the updating of the city code. Kelly Peterson stated that the homeowner had contacted him a few months ago. He said that she is very well aware of the parking parameters. There was further discussion about looking at options with time limits or no parking as it is a state highway. The mayor asked to send out the current ordinance for parking to council. So there was that. And then, I feel very strongly about the safety of our citizens. And so I am very open to making changes to our parking ordinance that still keeps that at the forefront. And so I know that when Officer McCall was in here, we talked about, motorhomes and they were all not permitted. However, if someone was working, if they were actually actively working at their home, then that was not, she might have talked to them, but they would not be issued a citation because we have an exception there that allows that. So I'm very open to hearing how we want to proceed. I do know that I have received in the past, emails from local business owners, and I can appreciate supporting our local business. My family has one, like that is our livelihood. But again, the safety concerns that I have are very important, and I hear all the time. I just feel like it's happening more and more that kids are getting hit in the street, and if we can help that and not have, big RVs or trailers blocking, I feel like that is something that we need to consider. And then back to the 72-hour, the time frame. We were told by our former city attorney that having a time frame is not very, it's not very enforceable. It's really hard to enforce that. So that's why we stayed away from the time limit. So those are just my thoughts on it. Again, I just want to reiterate, I am not super set on this ordinance. I am very willing to hear what your thoughts are on that. But safety will always be my number one concern.
Especially around like Third Street and stuff.
Yeah, and
That's an issue.
it's, there have been trailers that have been parked there that don't have cones or anything, and it is so dangerous at night. It's just, there are very different areas of Buell, and some, could have a trailer there for more than a day, but others are just very, very dangerous.
What about the loading and unloading stuff? Maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like we talked about that a little bit at our meeting 2 months ago. As far as the loading and unloading, as far as I'm concerned, none of the council was opposed to the loading and unloading. That's not, like, if someone's actively unloading their trailer, it would be I would not want code enforcement to go talk to them, that was not the point of this parking ordinance, was to like get people. So. So I mean, there's. The exception would be for the purpose of loading and unloading passengers, materials, or merchandise when such passengers, materials, or merchandise are actually being loaded or unloaded. And then we did talk about a couple months ago that they can have on the website, if, especially in the summer, because right now it's not really happening, but if people were gonna leave the next day, they could talk to the code enforcement or, just it'd be like an online form and just say, hey, I'm gonna be leaving the next day, I'm gonna leave my RV here overnight, and then she would know. And I feel like that would help, right? So they're not, they're telling the city what they're doing, it's still helping with safety,
Well, as long as you're not blocking the stop sign and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. I like that.
Well, the obvious thing is motorhomes are the big issue, because they do take up a lot of space. Is there a way? The driver's ed 101, you park so far away from stop signs, you don't park backwards, all this normal stuff, when it comes to an RV. A lot of times you have them in storage, you bring them out, they're plugged in, you're not actively loading it, unloading it, you can't get it in your driveway, so it sits out front while you're charging your batteries, or that time frame, even a shorter time frame where that kind of stuff would happen, but not have to go on an app and tell somebody you're doing it. Candace did say that she was able to do timeframes and photos work, correct? She could take a photo, you check on it in a couple of days, it was still there.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what Andy's problem was, probably, is that being able to prove that it exceeded the time limit. As long as she could prove it, I think you're fine, then you could cite him for violation of the ordinance. Just before I can work with her, and I don't know how busy she is. You could do something that's, well, you can get creative, you could do something where oversized vehicles like that are limited to lifetime. Maybe passenger vehicles, things like that, they can be 78 hours, maybe the RVs are 24. You can also just say, on this street, we're not gonna have parking due to safety issues. There's surely
There are some really narrow, and there are some really wide.
well, you do have in your ordinance, I think you have in your ordinance, just looking at it, I think it says that you can't. Prohibited, nobody shall stop if there's less than 12 feet of roadway left. I don't know if you have situations where that meets it or not. I think you need to pick the issue that's really causing you concern and try and, as opposed to just trying to make a general rule, which is easier. You need to pick a specific situation and kind of zone in on that and say, this is what we're trying to prevent in this case. Your ordinance is pretty general for the most part, your ordinances.
Chief, what's your thought?
The 72 that I've always ran into before, somebody said, well, I just moved it. We took a picture one day, come back a day or two later, we're at 72. I don't have a way, or also don't have a way to verify, did they not just go drive around the block and park it as close as they can in the same spot? Then that resets that 72. So what we were finding was people would park, they'll wait till that last minute, drive around the block, park it back in the same spot, and that reset that 72. Then they do it again, keep doing it again, next thing you know, 30 days later, that motorhome is still there blocking, but they have fulfilled the city codes and that's it, because all they did was move it. If you're gonna impose the 72, maybe some of that words need to be, it's gotta be moved to another section of the block. Or put a different area within 500 feet of the original parking. But it's really difficult to say, and before, just moving it forward a couple inches and backing it up, satisfied that 72. And that's what we were finding in court was, how do you know for sure they didn't go in the middle of the night, moved it 2 inches and moved it back, that reset your 72. And so we were finding that they would just constantly be there. Well, now that they're all winter, now that they're all summer, and the neighbors still complaining. And the photos do help, but how do we know between time that we take that photo, leave 5 minutes later, they go move around the block, and park it back. That was what we were running into, they had people getting ready, was like running way around that 72, and next thing you know, it's already stored around the streets.
Maybe what you do is you say 72 hours in any, what would be 136-hour time limit, or 72 hours.
Yeah, so it can be defined down and we could later. And easier than then just drive around the block and park it back. That.
That's good. So they will say 72 hours per week.
You know, then it's gotta be
a weekend.
maybe the 72 is in the weekend and then it's gotta go away for 14 days. And then you come back to 72 and go away for, you know, I think you can start posting that kind of stuff, but.
You go to the screen, you know, go again and then park. That's a good idea.
I think that would work, and then there always the exception for tradesmen.
Like if they're actively looking.
Yeah.
Most don't leave their work trailers to
Oh, I mean,
house,
it's
if they're
really
big jobs.
that's, yeah, I mean, but just, yes,
Right, your
an
guys.
active,
There's
business.
So yeah, I think most of it was our 72 hours for your daily driver type vehicle. Cars, trucks, vans, or homes would be restricted to. Home trailers will be restricted to 72 hours and
They have to be,
then have to be moved. And have to be
there were
licensed.
a couple that weren't.
And have to be licensed.
You're paying tax on it. You're gonna pay tax on it, get off the road.
So we're worried about them like dropping their trailers and leaving them parked out there, or hooked up to a vehicle like different situation? It seems like if it's hooked up to your vehicle, you would probably move on it pretty much daily. If you're dropping your trailer on your house like that, I feel like it's a big issue. The big issue I would see is dropping your camp trailer in front of your house for a week. For 72 hours, whereas if you're hooked up to your trailers, that you're gonna be moving it, I would assume. So I don't know if you just can't drop your trailers in front of your house, but that being enough to keep the trailers moving, I guess.
Situation that. I don't know. Bring your trailer, without personal experience, maybe a ticket for it, but I bring home a trailer from work. For the weekend, pick up, clean around my yard. I'm up from it, I mean, hours. I stay hooked up to it right now, still in mileage.
Yeah, I came home from a wrestling tournament with a bunch of gear down like midnight. It was Easter weekend. On Sunday at 7 AM, I got a knock on the door saying they didn't move my trailer because I was in violation. They said that a neighbor complained, which I doubt it happened, but anyway, it seemed like a little bit of like you get clean meat or something. Yeah, let me sleep for a couple hours. I'll move it.
I think most of like what I've heard through community is with like working other trailers and being in violation of it. So I think that something needs to be amended in there if you are hooked up to a license. Vehicle that very generally will they just stay there for 72 hours and count. It's usually the work day sometimes, depending on where at. I have went to work in the middle of the night for certain situations, but. I think there just needs to be something in there for if you're hooked up to a licensed vehicle. But I agree, if you are unhitching your trailer on the side of the road. I don't think that's safe by any means.
Active building permits, so obviously, exception and new subdivision.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's gonna be a lot of luck, there's gonna be some neighborhoods that nobody has a camp trailer, and then there's gonna be some neighborhoods where like 6 people might have camp trailer. And so there could be a situation where we might have access issues with fire trucks or, you know, setting downriggers and outriggers and, you know, having access to the front buildings and things like that. And it's not gonna happen all the time, but it could happen in an area where you have multiple people with camp trailers. And I like the 14-day, 72-hour idea. And I think work trailers it makes sense that they get you know, they can work out of the trailer for a period of time as well.
So you got a minute. Well, it's really kind of hard to run a gravel permit. You know, my house is flooded, farmer's last night, but it's, that's
I
gonna be
feel
how
like
they.
that is such a specific,
Yeah.
I would be like, I would be very shocked if our code enforcement was going to give someone a ticket for an absolute emergency. I mean, I know her, that does not sound like something that she would do.
Yeah, so that's for those quick permits.
No, if you're building this out, we're going to come in. Here's what the mail, you go over to the head.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah. Wherever all your job is, and some of these people come in and do some jobs and they're moved to one house. You know, everyone can more.
Can we? So, let's say a nice wide street. Now you have, like you brought up, 3 campers on one street. Obviously, you're not getting emergency vehicles through there, you're not getting a fire truck through there.
I'm just reading your ordinance right now, it says parking in residential areas, no trailers of any type, any motorhomes, I mean, so at this point, you're prohibited.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do is allow those sometime.
Okay. So maybe you do 72 hours in any given period, maybe you make an exception for trucks or trailers, washer.
And if they're restricting traffic, then
Sure.
they can decide it, even though they're within.
Common sense.
These are the type of things that can take up a lot of time, and while it seems relatively minor, it's still important for us, so maybe you guys put your ideas together. And maybe I can help you, or
Right, so
I guess we can work with, kind of to answer your question from earlier today, maybe we can come up with some ideas and some revisions. And I can help take a look at it and say, I think maybe this could work, or maybe it won't, or the chief, I think is, those issues, I think need to have some input. Because you can always have the exception in there where you say, okay, you can handle 72 hours unless you somehow obstruct, use traffic, stop signs, whatever.
I agree. I think before we vote on anything, we need to have input from the various people that are enforcing that and having safety issues, having to go down on the streets.
The one thing that we would hear, you know, you get that neighborhood that hunting season, that stuff, right? I don't need the fire guys and us trying to find tow truck services to get these trucks and trailers moved out of the way to buy a house fire. Or, you know, or another emergency service, and so. I mean, having some input on that would be great. We're not saying no, we don't want to work around, there's a workaround, but we just gotta make sure that we have, you know.
I will, I'll say from experience, I've seen the fire department have to avoid going to streets instead of taking the straight shot, like down to their old trailer park. Cause I used to live on Mayborn Corner, and if there's too many trailers or traffic piled up right there, they have to go around the block to go and find a way to actually get through there versus taking the quickest route there. And so, in my opinion, the tree streets are some of the most narrow streets in the entire city. versus the number of streets have the width to it. And when you get a trailer parked in there plus another car across the street, sometimes that engine doesn't even have the ability to go through that street. Let's go over.
Or that trailer that has remained hooked up because they're working on that house. Fire guys can't get through those side streets, where you got 2 through on that, it's just too difficult, so. Those are, you know, if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, maybe some of those tree streets need to be restricted to no trailers for that reason, so it just takes some time to go through the code. We're not opposed to it, but I don't also wanna create another thing where everybody's bringing their hunting trailers back and that fire guys can't get down. Especially that ladder truck, right, it's. And then when they do get there, the fire guys aren't gonna take time to tow trailers, they're gonna cut trailer and run a hose through.
And the idea that was given tonight is the best idea I've heard as far as this parking is concerned, because. You know, if I had a camp trailer, I would love to park in front of my house while I'm getting ready to go camping. And nobody's gonna park their camper for somewhere 2 hours and then go away for 14 days and, you know, park it just because, you know, it's driving around the block and putting it right back in the same spot, it's the issue. You know, but, you know, it's nice to give somebody, you know, time to use their trailer and, you know, do something for a short amount of time. You know, so.
It doesn't even need to be 72 miles.
Let's get somebody else, talk on there.
Yeah.
We'll get something together and vote on it later.
You're gonna have to go through the same process that we just went through for your zoning ordinance for. You know, line out the stuff you're taking out and the line stuff you're putting in, you go through the roll call vote, we have a second, third readings.
And there's a lot more codes that Candace would bring us, I'd like to go through with you guys that need to be updated, I mean, some of these codes are from 1950s, 1974, it's time to be updated. So there's gonna be a few more coming with the parking ordinance and from things.
So we'll table that for further.
We need a motion to table it though, right, since it was an action item?
I'll make a motion that we
You
go.
don't have to, but you certainly can, many people do, and then I guess I would suggest that get your ideas together. So that code enforcement or whatever can make some changes and you can have something back before you that you can consider. Something the chiefs. Plural.
And is there,
Good look at.
is there a way that these guys can send some ideas to us without violating the open meeting laws as far as email?
Yeah, we can't do.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
We're having discussions and I think you want to open meeting on violations. I think you could give them suggestions.
Yeah,
We go there, you guys. That's something.
I prefer to hear from the ordinance officer, and you guys, what's gonna work, what's gonna work for you.
Yeah, when your house is burning down, you want somebody to.
Yeah, no,
And then you guys can have, what you get in ordinance, do you think is getting close? Then hear from the public.
Yeah.
You don't have to, it's not a zoning ordinance, but in this instance, it's kind of prudent to do so.
Not been a pretty hot topic, so.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we table the parking ordinance.
Second. Second that. I have a motion on a second. to Table the parking ordinance. Tell further information.
And would it be advised if we send our ideas to the council president, that she can just send it down to the council?
Then do the burger, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. I'll just table that until. Alright, we need to make sure that we comply with the law in regards to employee privacy issues. If a member of city council would like to discuss any issues pertaining to complaints, discipline, etc. Of city employee, those will first need to discuss with the mayor, who is the chief city administrator per Idaho Code 550-602. After review of complaint, etc. If it needs to go before city council, it will be listed under executive session in the upcoming agenda.
All right. Next item is executive session.
I have a couple comments.
Oh,
So City Officials Day is coming, I'm glad that a lot of us are attending. I feel like I really hope that they touch on some topics that are very important to our city. I know that the last time I went, last month, there was a lot of mention on House Bill 389, and I feel like that will directly impact the money that the cities have to provide services for our town. So I didn't really see that on there, but there are a couple other things that looked interesting. So I'm excited for that. And then, the city county meeting, if you can make that, that's a really good meeting too. Suzanne Hawkins she just came on as a commissioner, so it's Suzanne, Rocky and Brent. And I feel like it's very special that we meet as a city and county because not all city counties have the working relationship that we do. And so it's nice to come together every quarter or so. And just meet people that are from other towns on councils, and mayors and just, just we get to brainstorm things together, hear things that are going well, things that they, kind of struggle with and just work together. So, that's a good meeting to attend if you can.
And that's February 5th.
Yeah.
that it? Any other comments? Oh, did you get my email? I'll be able to make it, I got it
Yes.
prior.
Yep.
They went away. Okay. Revive executive session.
Okay, I move that we enter executive session, pursuant to provisions of Idaho Code 74-206 subsection 1F, which is to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated. And I request a roll call vote.
Alright. Once, we have one in a second, roll call vote, Marla?
Yes.
Yes. Brian? Fred?
Yes.
Courtney?
Yes.
Alright.
No, I think that we did something else, and I think it helped because you to your face, so now then you don't do that, so.
All right, well, I house full of kiddos, they're on the.
If I get you guys.
Yeah, such a pain. Yeah, and you said I'm gonna go there now. I'll still be better. So. Right. I'll just start working on.
Running or
Cold.
like I went outside, but I'm not in the light out there.
Yeah. It's like.
That's the only like, so it's more activity out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I started with it.
Yeah, I should have marked on, but I think it'll be it's not gonna be even here. I should.
Very much so, right? Yeah. For me, although on Sunday, it's taken, but 10 days off over the server. They only want to be issues.
So how much longer is it? Or see staying?
You know, so as we see that low, we do some deeper for these. On Sunday, so literally when I was there, I sat up to this. Or about this child, okay, that's what we say for our thing, show them how home. Not straight.
Let's see, from a line, I think I gotta change my report from last, and I think I sergeant detective.
Are not also.
No, I think it's, I can't remember. Oh, you got any of those Saturday? Like,
Just sorry.
right, the line. He said,
We started talking about that every day.
and then maybe call the public.
It's nice being on. I don't have to see it, but I saw. We're working out through grab that puzzle piece.
There, right there, everything, and I've never done that. It's fun. It's involved. You know, boom, you got it. And
Even just having gratification. Yeah, let me tell you that, I've also. Show.
sit down there for
Conversation now.
I don't think there was.
Yeah, you're.
Perfect. I told her that you just said about this.
I saw what happened for. Eating house like things, you know. Where you were.
I was working.
That's your mind.
Well, I was driving northbound here, like, you know how you see something out in the side of your eyes, you're like.
green.
That, yeah, the car sitting like this, they're like, nice. Yeah, but that's, I talked to Sharon there. We kind of went back and forth about who wants to do everything, who did it, and just he, but he wanted our take off. It's your back. But that guy did not like me. I don't think I was saying.
What's going on? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like, I know, there's, but people don't find it.
That's great.
To get out, yeah, but I'm sitting. I said, you love it.
You have the.
It's not that, that's one. And then I say, I don't know, was going over. So I walk over. And you not run the road, it's like, let's not be that bad.
Oh, he's from the eight there, yeah. I was trashing out. I was pretty sure.
It works great for you.
Jack uses.
Not legally. Well, you have. And I'm getting to still like. I've never. Then I see you all standing around the edge of there, I'm like. The first thing I thought is. Go away down.
Yeah.
I know it's actually.
Oh. I was supposed to go in the fall.
I'm Tom, really, first talking about. My head's so running out, so you trying to help you figure out.
There's only we have. It's just take care of those desks. All this is there before that, you know. So we have four sort of school competition. Was putting that job. The state. And it was for 130. Yeah. There were. It's kind of trying. So we were present. Just the types. So. How they notice that. This one. In the side. Yeah. They use. So those are supposed to. Well, how they usually up here. Deciding for the narrow box changes and the older fashion. They may have been the 17 hours. I can't buy. She's upstairs. Mail. I was good. Yeah. I didn't go downstairs. I don't want to do it. Stairs. It's. Yeah, they never did. Yeah. Say that. Alter vision. So kids. He small. For the everlasting. I really think should go in for enough. That one happens. Just to make it more. I was in the line. Now she's not. So it's way more to be done there. I was there all but there's not only fun. First they were going if office maybe start. They're not. So back to school. And starts but there's no. Now they need some fun. Two for. It's bad. It's just true. So if he's been a traffic lane, it looks good. You're killed. That's not bad. They spent 2 hours out there playing the rockers. All the way through. It was our all happy there. And that's my down this right. I know I got it. I didn't understand it. Oh, it's pretty. You know, that's good. That's very what it is. Even though we got illegal. And I was all city. And then it's just. Driveways, such as they don't. So this is. I had to work related. Well, it was just when I was sitting out, my expectations voted down that, boy, it's kind of quiet, isn't it? I still didn't. 45. Well, that might be had somebody pull down on something. 25. I mean, that was it. See what happened, you know, someone else. Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, I feel like. Yeah. Right now, I'm already so passionate that, you know, everything's right, get on. Well, I think a lot of us kind of, a lot of us kind of slow, but yeah, sure, so it's already slower. Yeah. I mean, we're. I think that. I mean, we have a lot bigger section, I mean, that's a bigger, but not, we might have. We're probably saying some month in, we don't have that. Yeah, I don't talk, we'll see what happens this time. It's gonna be the next 2 weeks. I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. I was actually just. I can just find this. I do like them, I say like, I don't even have them. I thought you have a right. I think,
I think it's actually fair because.
And that's gonna be, that was the first part.
Yeah, the first
I love pizza, don't there.
I just have here, like, your guys on here.
Luckily, there are, I show you, you know, it's like my birthday, we're trying to do the calendar, I learned those segments. Because now,
Alright, seriously.
I'm just that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, $50.
You know, it's time to go.
There's other places that are.
Obviously, say,
You share it comes out there.
Close the street.
Yeah.
There's the,
Forward. And then grocery streets, fine, so they, we're so cute. Catch the orange light. They're not. Just close the road. And just sort of barricade the street.
It's great. As participants.
I know about hurting so thank
You
you.
get from the spots, it's
great.
You can't.
Sorry, sorry.
as long as.
I enjoy it, this Johnny Ways. If you have children, yeah, I say for key parts, no big. I understand. Not only are we cars,
And so.
Yeah. I like that.
Look at
The addition is on.
Is that with money?
Yeah, yes, it's a.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Troy.
Right.
Well, even if we're gonna start doing that. In my cases, if boxes are close, we'll start selling small, it's like games. There's a lot of others that.
Maybe do this.
Calculated emotions less costs. And how much they charge, or break, super, case and that they also for teams on.
So when I also got some garden right now.
And they're actually $200 or he says, pricing. And teams.
So they're really good.
Just depends on like. High car. Those T-shirts. It's Western.
You know, they're giving ground
The
downtown.
jobs downtown. Same time, I crush already. They're super.
So then, I'm busy.
Was that a picture of?
They're gonna.
And
So
so
back to the bridges, I think that fast.
Dead Ross? Or Dead Ross? Yeah, it'll be. Do.
like, for every day,
Class.
nice fine.
Who's the first one to get it?
First, you get all in, that's single and easy. Jumps off the racer and
Two and first, it's 1 to 6.
so the strong ones.
Five has to go to big trucks.
What
What is the average street?
So in the whole case, you got a 50-50 shot.
So if it was high parts, it probably not would be very. But for. They're realistic.
Each one is very hard. So I think I'm last trading night, on that table, it's like
Then this one's down. It's like.
oh, beautiful. Especially for touching. I still more.
And I'm saying Cincinnati, Lawrence Taylor, those are
Big fish.
all the parts of that. They look for a bag.
You were this.
Actually, I said, trailer. It's weather. Fish were- Fish on those. And it comes up. No, my way. Like, for sure. And yes, one through. Yeah, oh, yeah, for something, yes, what you get a, I'm, you might, you have the argument.
Yeah, not sure. I should wait from years. It's, I have a foundation. Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's cool or not, you know, but there's only like about 5. And there's certain.
That's. I had the Jefferson, like that. Yeah, well, that's, so Panini, Panini has the license, right there, last year, they had the license. Literally, you know, patches, all the signatures for flags, registration last year, it goes back to Thomas. So that's what I was getting. So now it's. So the parent company for all these other jerseys and that's so maybe we get around some of that just owns Texas. So I know it's sort of this, they plan to make these and stuff, so every. Here's the value, so it's like a giant. I don't argue going from the.
So when did you, already doing?
I was doing that. Baseball first. So I don't watch no baseball. Yeah, I do. I have a club, so I watch one. The baseball. It's not like some of the backs, my son. Basketball has baseball has things, those are days, those are all things. And sport has different resources. $70,000. All my kids. There's no guarantee on that.
No, we're not asking. Baseball and football, and we know that still has a couple years behind. The most valuable car is baseball.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of that.
Well, they call it, I'm guessing things they could show, yeah, so we're doing.
Looking at through that, man, that's a pretty good card. Even if I bought it at $5 or $6, he's now. I go to. See, I should. Look at the value. It's a.
I realize my front trigger. So use the blocks, that's where you might get back.
Well, I've been meaning,
Will that ever increase the value?
potentially, the chances on that, because of how many plants are of it. Now, someone's looking for a specific. Like the German code, if there's a little unique luncheons there. Dancing at the start, always.
Show that.
That's what it sounds like they're all. Final. This one got to know once in a while, like that information is truly my first time. You know, they want to pay.
Yeah, they don't. Take it out of.
It's mine, it's like, everywhere else. How they. So like. It's always like, I'm sure, so like, when the hands down, or can you go to that country? Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you start taking my players. That art was right. So you're up there, you go. Yeah, this time, you're gonna take losses in cards, right? Because these guys go down and we'll leave them to go to cards, you know. And that's the whole angle.
And whatever.
It's very fun, it's like first auction of $20 and less. You know, there's people interested in purchasing. Try to. Price. Not really get like.
Like Russian fries and fines. She,
As long as we make smart 60-70%.
doesn't.
Hey, like, where does he at?
So, would you say that cards nowadays are worth more than cards that are like?
Tom Brady. Can't say he can't do it.
Really?
So these cards are coming down, Hold on, right now. It's the same thing, working my kids were older. They thought I could jack. First my Jordan's gonna be able to fight a lot. It's gonna be a lot more than, you know, I was the number one seed in draft. It's the shit. It's in the hands, these are the bars now. It's gonna be worth a lot more.
So, it was much.
Because of the career, my activities, considered the career to go to. So.
They said also that that's the
But. Well. And it's very little.
It's basically, all they do is sell sports with auctions. Some of the most stupid things, one steel, I mean, it's like shoelaces or something, it's like, I can't understand, but it's so many speeds. It went for $1,000, so I don't know who was right now, like shortfall. What do you guys benefit? Since you be a certain percentage, so it's 10,000, we get 6,000. Yeah, that's probably high, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Portion of the realize. I'm sure they were up around there, not ended. Too late, either way, I'm going to work.
I think it's 55 places. In the morning. And I now have to wait, well, I'll see the picture from that. Prison is.
This is going on right now.
Yeah, in the first place, it's one case. Well, see. So you got it. They got some kind of reloading income. It's like, maybe so they freeway. Everybody likes some expense. No. It's about future. Yes.
But you have, you're not anything to sell.
Yeah.
I don't see that, there's some things, but don't think now.
So you saw, you just slide. He went in, he slid that.
It'll be almost, you know, responsible. Now, it's no, we're putting seeing it for us.
Somebody slide on it. That's all you do, you slide.
So he's and who does.
Yeah, you slide it.
So I mean, you know, the best part is where.
I agree. You know, everybody said, this guy had, they found, you know, sick on girl. Charlotte, because it was nice, as far as moving that car, they didn't want to check, so it's in the back. So
After it's like two bags, one of the grand, like,
yeah, but there's really, she slide, but you know where the target is. It's like even her is, years ago. So I just want to show you that. I don't definitely are. 13 minutes off.
I had at least been one now.
What do we mean?
How's that? No. I'll 7.25. That.
And that part right there.
That's the line.
In my house.
Southern pay is 7.25 billion. Now that I'm gonna put last time I looked at stuff. It's like $1 million+.
Yeah, check it out.
So, yeah. Yeah, so everybody one year for whole. And so parties 5 AM, that people eat my stuff. And you have to fast from great concentration. One was in that is actually. Right, and so the guys that housing you right, and there's people they got some. They all learning for they. That's truly supposed to. I was one of those people. The 70s when.
I didn't know
that was spring or actually today. So. Case. So I didn't know they were.
Yeah, we like
They take money and the best of the cars.
So who says about Vegas?
I mean, I know you must play those.
Take like one guy, why those are happening. I understand why these guys are
there and for years.
But not just a baseball.
My sister's 30. It comes down to swimming in, right? So like the show is on there now. The splitters and soon it's working or find more value show it's on. Boise Hospital.
You were out there, yeah. And this is like, this in 2018. Me and my husband, our kids were passing through to go to dinner. And we stopped right there on the strip. And it was raining and nobody was on the strip.
We're wonderful.
But yeah, they were saying how, the visitors had gone down and the shores moved down.
It's not. I'm funny. Yeah, it happened at home.
We actually went in and out like that. Now back when I was 1998. Cause we were like going up the elevator, going down an elevator and these people. Person. Well, there is because they're, I was out. Sorry, in 1998. I just.
My wedding dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen my huge in trade shows and other company I work for, and that's just fun. But then, of course, they, we went to the live show and went to, so I was in Cirque du Soleil, some shows. And of course, this is all spoken for, because it, $180, $230 ticket is not like less stressful, it's not high on my list. I was just saying it's less stressful than I can remember. I don't smoke.
Oh,
So I got less stressful.
right, now,
You don't care for it. When they usually I all with that and we must be well. So I was, it's not a long soccer issue. It's like. You're sure.
You just, I got to write it in the door.
Right, so this was during my ass. I was sweating out there last night. We went up to the, thing I had that,
first Halloween, so it's
they're all, oh, you can't, not my person.
I was,
Come on, you found it. I know, I, that was the brain, I know it, I'm not getting it,
so like, and.
I'm stuck. 2 girls in it, 2 teenage girls. Their mother was. We did, put a little writing or anything.
You know what I mean?
2 teenage girls, I just wrote the no on it and skull. So that would do me.
I did that, and so, so I jumped on my transfer twice. And I just started like a tethered jump, but you're 850 feet up in the air. And you jump,
You know what I mean?
and free fall into the last 40 feet, and then they catch you and like, they slow it down, so you don't crash. So I ran out, I had to learn how to do the daytime into that.
Yeah.
But our way back, we actually, I was at that on how it was proud to have a big shot of because I'm down 98 here for that. And my good interest was, is shorts. And so, I did not, go up some big shots that I had to use it. I'm like, I like my first, but I like everything, everybody. You have conversations, maybe you have those, but then you do. Since I had jumped on that, and I looked at that, right now, and the other person, and I was raising people, you're going to touch on it.
See, and I just never, I didn't know about what you did.
I see.
I never listened to you.
Way to change.
So we did.
It's even I can go 2000 until from early 2000s, say those things be good. Now.
Right.
So back in the eighties, early 92, as a farms and running themselves there. And to go wherever, I had a hair came around. And meeting other farms and oh, yeah, that's what you know, showing on that. Well, obviously, it's still hot, it's like, I can't find anything about it, and you can do, you know. Well, no, we have money, yeah. But, yes, and we, I think it actually,
Oh, no, I should. I think personally.
right, and there's
Some
some.
of them figure.
But,
Oh, that's
Billy, we're still on that different part.
I guess I'm less. I guess I'm.
That's what they did, nobody wants to.
But, so you have to also ask them, so scoring.
I feel like
Just a little more control is.
stepping out and over it.
You know, you're running down. That was nice.
Nice. I did that once, but I feel again, I'm showing something like that, it's not as easy as I was.
Sort of life like that, I mean, it's the opposite. So, yeah, I don't go off the high boards anymore. I mean, you know, short experience, you find things there.
Just. Maybe learn a little bit more.
Well, I think it was fun. I think it was, since I never spent time, that's what I should say. You know.
That is the question.
I don't really understand
Something
something.
just there's a parameters out there and how.
Well, it's another section, it's a line, it's a part, it's a part. So people enjoy it, have fun, all of those are kind of distractions, sitting down.
Don't have to do that because the town is taxed.
World's changing, it's showing crazy.
She can be an option for me or I should have tired.
You know, she tell you everything.
So she got more help with her, but.
Oh, yeah, she mentioned her.
Not worried that I can do anything about.
Concern on any.
I don't think I all these but I didn't evaluate her. And he was very seeing now, like sort of violence and help. Yes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is she.
Yeah.
You're like real high.
She gives you, Mars tax. Check.
It was there's something else. Resolved.
No. Marshall Harbor. Involved with. All of them. Yeah. How much you ready to accomplish? Behind us now. Okay. The wars and the. Because there is books, I like the call them no-brainer books, which is pretty complicated, but. You go to sleep in the hall, and no-brainer books, and they're kind of historical mysteries. So there's. Historical kind of this. And then those characters really well, having some other son rather than And, great descriptions of World War One. World War One. Trench warfare. Things like that. It was so. Great. War stuff. And we're still hating, we're still killing, we're still attacking the street. I don't get it. Who's right, who's wrong, or who's bad, about which media feed to see. So we put on, I like to go about 16 or 17, telling you the story, because it's a story to their lives. Then, when this guy's got a little different lens, or maybe we never get all the facts. Or I need to think that. But I don't understand the agent, I don't understand. I know that it's on someone's agenda if it wants. But it is an interesting role, age properly. You know, the walking line on my sheet, which is you, there. What do we get? I got a boy back. One kid she was sorry at the time. Was the 5-year-old. The 5-year-old boy is benched by us, but the rest of the story is the 5-year-old boy who was abandoned in the driveway because I was to detain his father. The father ran off, stole the vehicle, and left the kid, a 5-year-old, standing there. So the nice guy, one nice guy, picks him up, takes him to McDonald's, and then calls from services. You don't hear that part, right? And we're doing good for that child, right? I heard a great thing last time, I thought it was fun. That instead of eyes, pleasing us. Oh, nice of you. And I'm not gonna go. I'm just saying, you can play with that word. You know, you get nice, you know. So you can do that. And then let me know, it kind of change the complexion. Change the little fast. Oh. Maybe they aren't the hell. Maybe they are. Get back to home there a little. My personal feelings, but, you know, they don't want you to find that $8 billion. Right. Which is, it's amazing food. We started exposing drugs. And when actually, more than one media outlet does it, how much corruption there is. It's stunning. You always expect people to be beautiful. No, yeah, that's not nice. See, right, to be right in front of it. We might get a new one.
I intend to say shut that time.
It's just kind of like 7 minutes, and that's what I said. Charging no, you, it's the other shot, so we have that medically. So now, so it's also, it's one, see, I think you went back. Sleeping under three legs, you know, that's the reason for sorry, James. Right, you know, so I said, you're just scared. That's great. I'm so lucky to stand like that in a world of them where there isn't much showing. So you should give to me, it's tax write off. I don't know. It really, you do that. Yeah, it's really. I'm not sure we're gonna do it. Yeah. This does it very often. I went there to go to a conference in Washington. Somewhere, here you go, this is kind of fun. Oh, it's a. It was a kindness, it's not out there. It's awesome. And you get around to get to. I wanted that to be dashed out. I
I haven't.
We're violated.
I'll make a motion to, leave executive at 8 o'clock.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
No?
Yeah, I'll vote. All right, Mark,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Carla.
Yes.
All right.
And, no action is needed at this time. Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. You are adjourned.
Oh, it's down.
Sounds
I was curious.
like an iron. Yeah.
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 I think that's what all.
I'll take them.
Yeah.
Then before you leave, can I have any?
Still recording.